Thanks for listening in to Pitch Guys, where we pitch millions of ideas on a myriad of topics with zero ability to actually execute any of them. We did have a regularly scheduled episode in the can, but with everything that's been happening globally with the COVID-19 pandemic, we made a last-minute decision to produce some new topical silliness to help you cope with the new reality of social distancing and self-isolation. For the first time in our Pitch Guys podcast history, each of us, Trevor, Derek, and I, are joining each other remotely via the internet. This podcast is not appropriate for kids, and we recommend that you quarantine yourself in a private room to prevent their delicate ears from overhearing any of our regular nonsense. Hey guys!
Hey Al.
Hey buddy.
Hey, great to see you guys. It's a little bit weird the way we're seeing each other this week. It's not the usual setup.
No,
it's true.
We've got a few things going on in the world right now. There's this little thing called COVID-19, and we're all trying to do our part and flatten that curve.
Yep, flatten the curve.
So this is a social isolation episode. We have isolated ourselves from each other, only joining each through the powers of video chat.
Yeah, so pretty cool so far.
I will say that if the sound quality seems down a little bit from our normal episodes, that is because we are actually joining each other in a Google Hangout from 3 different locations. In fact, I have isolated myself from Trevor by about 0.6 of a mile or a kilometer, and there's about a good 30 kilometers between myself and Derek at the moment.
It's true.
Good buffer zone.
True. Yeah.
I don't think this is even worse quality. I think this is a superior way to do these because I can still see you guys and I can still hear you guys perfectly.
Yeah.
But now I don't have to smell you.
You just don't want to hang out with us in person.
Yeah.
I just want to say that it's nice that I can do some things that are kind of out of your eyesight. You can't see them with your peripheral vision.
Yeah.
It's all how I aim the camera. And it's out of... Sorry, let me start again.
Right out of the gate.
Okay, well...
Yeah.
Right?
The future is now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so this is a special episode just for people who are self-isolating, kind of like we are. I think we're all pretty much forced into some sort of isolation at this point. Mm-hmm. And, just things are getting boring, and that's why we have...
things are getting boring, and we've really only been in self-isolation for less than 24 hours at this point.
It's been hell.
We thought if you're in isolation, you're going to need a bonus podcast to listen to spend your day here.
That's right. We want to do our part in just kind of brightening up spirits out there. This is happening to everybody pretty much worldwide, so we all need to laugh and have a little bit of fun and have some things to do in our damn houses.
Yeah.
I know. Trevor, you are wiping down every single surface in your house with alcohol wipes less than a week ago, weren't you?
Yeah. I am super tired of the smell of Lysol already.
I went to go pick up a mic stand to record out of Trevor's mailbox. And I opened the mailbox, and it smelled like bleach.
I poured so much Lysol in that mailbox, you wouldn't believe it. And then I sat at the door to make sure you weren't going to try and get in. And I am ashamed of this because I watched you walk up the walkway, and then I held onto my door handle to make sure you couldn't turn it.
Yeah. Well,
even the blinds were pulled.
The funny thing is that I think I arrived before you because I picked up my scissor mic stand and your stuff was still in the mailbox. So I'm guessing that actually in between you and I, that he probably went out and disinfected it at that time as well.
That's probably true.
So
all I know is it's been less than 24 hours isolation, like you said, and the paranoia has already started setting.
How so? How are you paranoid?
I don't know. I don't trust you two not to try and... I don't think you guys can quit me.
I think I did notice the paranoia because once I grabbed the microphone stand from your mailbox and took a few steps back, I looked into your front window and you were standing there with a shotgun and you cocked it while I was actually on your sidewalk. So
I
Go ahead.
To be fair, that was just a broom, but I'm a good actor.
Yeah.
But the deterrent worked.
Is this going to be like a rear window kind of thing that you're constantly peering out, and you might see something that's happening in your neighborhood? And
Good
Well, if I
reference.
can yeah, I don't mind being compared to Jimmy Stewart in any way, so sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Alfred
There you go.
Hitchcock, directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
there you go.
Yeah.
Good
You
film.
can IMDb it if you want, but it is a great film and it has nothing to do with what we're talking about here.
What is the episode about again?
I don't know. Podcasting.
about,
we should do one on
self-
podcasting.
Oh,
That'd be a good idea. We'll save that
Yeah.
for later.
Yeah.
This is we're talking about social isolation and how quarantine, COVID-19, how this whole thing is, tips and tricks, or just looking at the situation. I
Yeah.
think.
Life hacks for
There you go. Life hacks for
COVID-19.
COVID-19. That's got to exist somewhere.
Viral
Check
life hacks.
BuzzFeed.
Well, I mean, in all seriousness, though, I've been on this earth a few extra years from you guys, not that many, but I don't think, it's weird to think that none of us here have experienced anything like this or anything of this scale. There's no comparable whatsoever.
No.
I went through a little while in my teen years where I didn't really see other people.
I
Not quite
mean,
the same
like,
thing.
my dad is almost 80 years old, and
Yeah.
he was born at the end of World War II, but never really experienced that major event. So if this is novel to somebody who's 80 years old. The idea of this
Yeah.
is just unfathomable.
Everybody being locked down.
Yeah.
We're all believing it now, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, this is just all about quarantining yourself and your family and how to isolate. So, do you guys want to dive right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's dive right into it.
So, something has happened forcing you into your house. We're not
Yeah.
going to dwell on what that is, but What?
Something.
Right.
what are your rules for quarantine?
Oh, we have to have rules.
Rules.
Yeah, you
Okay,
just
how do you
started
mean?
your quarantine. You just started quarantine.
Are the rules for the other people in the house as well?
Yes, they are part of the domain of the quarantine.
Yes.
Okay.
So, if you are shutting your house up, if you've decided to do this,
Yeah.
then how do you fully isolate yourself? And how do you even choose who to quarantine with?
Yes.
I mean,
well,
Derek, you probably don't have a choice with your family. You have to take them all. Yes.
I actually had I have a weird quarantine happening right now.
Oh, okay.
Just like right at the start, my wife and I, we had a new baby.
Hey, now just
Yeah.
just stop you for a second here, because I realized that before you said that about a minute ago, that we never even acknowledged it off the top of the episode, and it's kind of a big deal. You've had a
That's
baby
true.
girl, so congratulations to Derek!
Yeah.
Yeah, way to go.
Thank you.
Yay! And now back to the
it's
episode.
exciting. And so even just as we were our room in the hospital was right across from the nurses station, and everybody was talking, about COVID-19 all the time. And so my wife was in the hospital, and she got out, and then that night, my son got a pretty bad fever and he was coughing. So I took him to the doctor, because he'd had a fever for the whole time my wife was in the hospital. And when she got out of the hospital, he had a cough and a fever. So I took him in just to kind of check him out, because he'd had 4 days of fever. And then he got excitedly.
It's not even. No, I'm listening.
Alan thinks he's alone right now. He forgets this, and then
Okay,
the
I'm
video
sorry.
chat is so
It's just a horrible thing. That sounds like the most insensitive thing. And then everyone in my house got a fever, and my wife got
I
a
sound like
fever.
an asshole.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So my son had this fever, so I took him in to get checked out, and they tested him for COVID-19 and said you need to isolate with him and your other son away from your wife and your new baby.
Sorry to hear that. That is actually a pretty horrible thing to have to go through.
Yeah,
as a
it
new
was.
parent.
It was kind of crazy. So my wife's been at her in-laws' place, and I've been at the ranch with the two boys. And I think that any single parent should have, I don't know, awards, or more than that, probably just free shit all the time, because you have to deal with your kids all by yourself. So it's been an adventure with me and the two gentlemen's been boys' day every day for the last 4 days, 5 days. So
that's a lot of bacon too. You've probably been feeding them nothing but bacon.
just nonstop, everything wrapped in bacon.
So you didn't even have to really choose who to isolate with. It was just kind of chosen for you.
No, it was selected for me. So I've hung out with my new infant via FaceTime a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's good.
Huh.
Well,
it was
your
probably
isolation. Go ahead, Al.
I was just gonna say it was probably a good choice that you chose to have your wife take the baby because breastfeeding is a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, I mean, I tried, and she was like, "No, you are
and
useless."
you can't do it over FaceTime either.
No,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, your isolation story kicks the crap out of my isolation story so far because you've got all this drama with the new baby and the fear and the separate locations, and I'm quite comfortable in my house with all my amenities with just the cat and my wife. So
Yeah.
you've once again one-upped me in the time of coronavirus. Way to go, Derek.
Well, I told first. You could have, revised your story.
You're isolation shaming me. I don't even feel like a hero now in any way. I didn't before, but now I really feel like a schmuck. What about you, Al? What do you got going on there? I can see that you don't have your family behind you in the office there. Did you actually have to have a conversation with like your wife and your son that they couldn't come into the room when Daddy's podcasting?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for one of your boys to kick the door open and come in and run around the room.
Well, I've only got one of the two home right now. He flew in yesterday, and it was pretty surreal. Went into the city to pick him up. He was flying in from Toronto, so it's Toronto's kind of a big hub of one of the 4 international airports open in Canada right now to Canadians returning home. So it was a little nerve-wracking to have him come in on that airplane.
Yeah.
You just want him to be safe, But
Sure.
actually, the airport was quite empty. There were very few cars in the parking lot, so the process wasn't that bad. But I don't think I've ever been so aware of my hands in my life.
Oh, yeah.
What you're doing with your hands.
Like, what are you touching?
Have you guys tried to not touch your face? Like,
it's
that is
extremely
pretty
difficult.
damn difficult to do.
I've got a secret for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't take care of my beard, and then I don't want to touch my face.
Like you deliberately put stuff in your beard to gross you out?
No, but I don't deliberately take things out, and I don't groom it, so I don't touch my face because I'm afraid of like what I'm going to find. Be a Skittle in there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I should say, so as far as my isolation experience has been, so I had to leave, and I was rather paranoid to have to leave my home to go get my son, but I just wanted to get him back here. So we got him, and he's back in the house, and he's perfectly fine being isolated right now and taking his time to... He's a musician, so kind of hone his craft.
Did you separately isolate him? Were you like, hey, you came through Toronto, you are potentially dirty, you are away from us for 2 weeks?
Yeah, we were thinking about it, but he's at really no more risk than we were. And, he rode home with me in the car, and it's a good 3-hour drive. And then once you get the person in your house, if your house isn't that huge, which ours isn't super big, it's pretty hard to stay away from that person. So I'm pretty sure that, if one of us in this house got it, then it wouldn't be too long before the other 2 or 3 got it as well. Like, I don't think you can avoid it.
That's something that some of the paperwork or some of the resources that I was looking at was like, isolate all the members of your house. Like how, with a 2-year-old and 5-year-old, like that, this is not accomplishable at all. So, oh well.
I could do it, I think.
Yeah.
I would just divvy up the house, the wife can have the top, I'll have the bottom. And
as usual,
live in the basement.
The cat have my living room.
Where's the cat in this whole scenario of yours, where your wife is on top and you're on the bottom? And where's the cat?
I'm not going to play into this.
He's in the garage.
So you were talking about rules for quarantine, and I have have some ideas for just how to isolate yourself and how to just some general ideas to kind of make your isolation a little bit easier.
Okay.
And one of them I was thinking, I don't know what you guys think, is that it's pretty difficult. If you do have to go out in public and you have to get your groceries, even if you're limiting your contact to the very least, like there's still some risk. Is it possible that you could make your own hazmat suit just out of things you have around the house, maybe like a couple garbage bags and some duct tape?
Yeah.
What else would you need? I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all a hazmat suit is.
Some kind of visor.
Yeah. I would cut eye holes and breathing holes in the face. Otherwise you get a whole nother problem.
The other thing I would do is out of my garbage bag is try to make Batman ears too, just to make it a little bit more.
That way it's got an intimidation factor.
As you're running around with a garbage bag that's been fashioned into a Batman mask over your face.
Actually, if the goal is to not get germs and stuff from other people, then you could even just go simpler and just make yourself a crazy suit. Dress up to go to the grocery store looking like a psychopath. You could have
keep away from you.
Well, like have a giant inflatable rubber ducky inner tube around your waist and some flip flops,
and then you're just screaming
clown
sporadically every once in a while. Yeah, that would do it.
Carrying around a badminton racket for no reason.
This is true.
Yeah.
But you just really need something that will maintain the space between you and other people, and I think dressing crazy accomplishes that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dress up like Batman.
Yeah, for sure. You so another idea, just like if you're trying to isolate yourself and making sure you're staying in the house, like, so today I had to go out and get a few groceries, and I did it in a way that to a grocery store that you can actually place your order online, and then you drive to a parking spot and you pick it up. And that works. Yes. That works pretty well, but there's still that moment where the guy's in the back and he's come to unload your groceries, and I had to go and open the trunk for him, and then he had to give me the receipt. And these are all risk points, right?
Why did he coughs on you?
What's that?
Why'd you have to open it?
Well, I know I did that electronically, but I guess I still had to. I still had to get my receipt from him. I should have just said, throw it on the ground and then taken off or something.
The money's in the bag. Put the stuff in the bag.
Yeah. But anyway, so I did that, and I'm thinking, well, I need to get that receipt transaction out of the way. I maybe should have had him stick it in the gas cap or something. I don't know. Yeah. But I was thinking,
that seems rational.
a lot of us have Roombas. And I know I've revisited the Roomba on many an occasion for different innovations, but I'm just thinking, if you could send it out to go pick up your groceries, that would be the ultimate, right?
Well,
and then
drones.
maybe it would clean the street on the way on the way back.
You need a really
industrial
beefed up Roomba to drive through the snow.
They don't have a very big dust compartment, Al.
Okay, and also it's gonna get to the grocery store just like a Roomba travels around your room entirely randomly.
Yeah,
just zigzagging until you cover 30 kilometers to get there.
Back all these impulse buy items.
Yeah.
I think droids.
You're saying about drones?
Drones.
Yeah.
I got Star Wars on my mind.
Yeah.
I think drones would be ideal, but they're so restricted now with the flight pass and everything. But that's what we could have used those damn things for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. If you had a little remote, if they would just lift those flight restrictions right now and allow everybody, you can fly those things a good, 3 to 5 kilometers away. I could easily get to the grocery store. It doesn't quite have the capacity to haul the groceries back at the moment, but
you just got to be careful that you don't accidentally drop the remote, because there's a Paw Patrol episode about that where the groceries are getting delivered by drones, and then they go berserk. So
is there a Paw Patrol episode about coronavirus by chance?
Not yet.
Yeah, there.
I bet you there's a South Park episode.
We beat them to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're out shopping and stocking up. Well, what are some essentials that you guys feel like you've picked up that benefits you in the long haul here? I mean, we'll get to food, but what are just like some basic, tools and equipment and sundries? Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, it's kitty litter.
Oh yeah. I suppose if you run out of that, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, like it's the only thing that was on my mind to get, and like it's a necessity, but it's useful for people too if you can't get that toilet paper, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's certainly a problem. I know, again, like, okay, we have a whole bag of it. I probably got a good 10, I was going to call them loaves, but they're rolls, I think. 10 rolls of toilet paper right now. So we're okay for a little while. I've never calculated how long it takes to get through that, but I'm a little bit concerned. I don't want to hoard the stuff, but I would like maybe one extra on hand, given that it's impossible to get it. I went to 2 different places today and could not buy toilet paper. This is getting out of hand.
Well, yeah. What about you, Derek? You live out on the farm there.
Yeah. Well, things that I personally looked for and couldn't find included toilet paper, included sanitizer, included for some reason I could get every single size of diapers except for the size that I needed for my kid. So there must be a lot of kids
for
the same
yourself.
size. Yeah, for myself.
Those are always hard to find.
Yeah. Or like kids Tylenol. I couldn't find kids Tylenol anywhere. Which is like, when my kid actually has a fever, I'm like just pissed off that I can't actually find any.
We got all these babies running into the pharmacies hoarding that stuff.
Yeah.
Because only babies can go and buy baby Tylenol, right?
Yeah. That's what I picture.
Are you a baby? No, I can't sell this to you.
Yeah. Gotta limit you.
No, we didn't actually need too much stuff. Just, I think the thing that, that we like to have like fresh produce all the time.
And who doesn't?
Like,
are you saying that you don't think Trevor and I like produce?
No, I'm just saying that like trying to find that, you gotta endanger yourself out to like go and get that fresh produce.
That's true.
I like produce meats. I don't like fresh produce that much, but
we could probably isolate out here for a while and be okay for a while.
Well, in regards to the toilet paper, I was thinking that if like books were started to be made out of toilet paper, you could read the book, and then when you were done reading the book, you'd have something that you could use for the other thing.
Well, Harry Potter would be a little less magical if you could just like finish a chapter and have a good wipe.
Well, it's practical because a lot of people do their reading when they're on the shitter, and so then you just be there and it's like, I finished that chapter. There's no reason why I can't get shit on chapter 8 now.
Yeah. Or like magazines that you're not going to necessarily read again anyway.
Yeah. I mean, who reads a magazine twice? Nobody.
Yeah. Who reads a magazine anymore?
I guess not too many people. I have one. I think I have iPad.
This crisis could bring it back.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
I heard about this Australian newspaper that was just publishing extra sheets in the newspaper just for people to use.
Yeah.
What about a printer? What about a printer that prints toilet paper?
Like a 3D paper printer.
But you have to go buy the toilet paper to feed through the printer.
Well, this is not even useful. It's just a novelty thing.
When I was looking when we couldn't find toilet paper, I looked online just for interest's sake, and you could get 2 rolls of toilet paper with Donald Trump's face on it. Every single sheet of the roll, but it was $17 for 2 rolls of paper.
Well,
just ingenious.
Yeah,
that is
probably making some money.
Yep.
All right. Well, you're all supplied up, and you're in your house. How do you actually like maintain the pureness of your quarantine zone? How do you keep the bacteria germs out? Like, are you guys going around and cleaning with wipes like I am every 24 minutes?
Well, but I don't think, honestly, guys, like if you're not going out, and you're not introducing anybody new into your house, as long as you don't leave the place, like once it's sanitized, you should be good, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to
I've
spread any misinformation out there in case I happen to be wrong. So I'll put the disclaimer on this and say you should probably Google this stuff and definitely don't trust us on anything.
No, we are not experts.
No, go to.
We've been at this for 24 hours.
Yeah, but I'm just speculating. So,
Yeah.
once you're in there, you're good, aren't you?
I'm the worst person to talk to about this because I have to often share a bed with a 2-year-old who coughs in my face for the majority of the night. So my house is outside is secure, but I think the inside might need a little.
I'm not
need
good
some Trevor love.
Yeah, I'm not good at socially isolating because I tried over the few days leading up to the last 24 hours, and when people would like, "Hey, let's do this and do that," I just couldn't. I didn't even think to say, "Oh no. We should probably separate." But
you are a very sociable person. You like to be around people. So
I do. I crave it.
I could see this being very difficult for you.
Yeah, but I did pretty good for the last 24 hours. The only real contact I had was I ordered skip the dishes,
right?
And I didn't even answer the door. I just left instructions for him to leave it on the doorstep.
Right.
Yeah. He was nice. He rang the doorbell and then he left. And apparently, this is a thing I think a lot of people are doing. So, but I felt.
Yeah. I think it's actually in their app. You can actually specify just leave it on the door.
Was he wearing a hazmat suit?
I didn't even see him.
He was wearing that home-fashioned hazmat suit. And Trevor was in the front picture window with his shotgun cocked.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot right through his window and let all that back.
You even try to ring that doorbell.
Yeah. And there's no Purell out there, just like toilet paper.
No.
Like people have bought all that up. So that would be really handy right now. But I've just taken to, when I finish wiping something down with a Lysol wipe, I just kind of give myself a little Lysol wipe bath.
Yeah.
Gross. And I don't think it's helpful, but I just feel better after doing it.
Yeah.
So I think if I did have Purell, I think I would exploit that stuff and I'd be having like Purell baths.
I read an article this morning about Calgary. There's like distilleries in Calgary.
Yes, I read that as well. Yeah.
And they're actually like producing their own hand sanitizer, which I thought was entertaining.
I think that's awesome. And actually, they're giving a lot of it away too, right? So I think they're planning on selling it, but it's an awesome idea.
One hand washes the other.
Yeah. Put it on, instead of like those little 50 mils of, a different kind of alcohol, just have your hand sanitizer on your bottle of vodka.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of like keeping the zone protected, I don't want to get too dark with this, but I started to think about like, how do I defend my home if I'm going to be in it? Because I don't really subscribe to security systems and stuff that much. I'm not that paranoid of a person, but I had a weird thought. Like, I've seen a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So, and the first thing that came to my mind, because I've seen a lot of movies, is I should home alone this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was asking my wife, like, do we have any paint cans and string? And do we have any,
well, you also need a few cardboard cutouts to put in the window, right?
Yeah.
Your wife's constantly yelling at you because she's stepping on your Lego.
Yeah. Do we have any Christmas ornaments you're not fond of I can put under a window? So I started that process today, but then I got tired and I just played some video games.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was on Mythbusters too. They talked about, maybe not Mythbusters, but a YouTube video or something where somebody was talking about how most of the pranks in Home Alone would have killed the people. So that would have been a very different movie.
Yeah.
If maybe they should reboot it and make the gravitas a little bit, more by. This has nothing to do with isolation, but we might as well, point out that, if you had an actual death, maybe there's like 50 crooks or something trying to get in there. Yeah. And they're slowly being offed.
More of a survival drama.
Yeah.
Right.
Home Alone. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Derek, you live out in the country, so I was thinking you kind of have an advantage to all these people who are trying to desperately get groceries and things.
Right.
You can kind of just produce your own food, can't you?
If it was a little bit nicer. We do have a little greenhouse that we bought some lettuce seed to try to grow some greens. My 5-year-old, once he's feeling better, he wants to go set some snares for rabbits in the backyard. So
Oh, yeah.
Perfectly normal toddler stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
It should be
regular
easy because you're growing lettuce back there, so I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Just
they're
put them
pro-
beside each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can grow
And you've
rabbits.
got
back
We
there.
actually have our chickens, so they'll
Yes.
either produce eggs or they would produce meat if we I don't anticipate that anything would get that far that we would need to
Are your
I wouldn't
chickens
tell
are
them,
producing meat? How are they?
Yes.
How are they doing
Well, I mean,
that?
well, I mean, if they're not,
Is it like a
laying eggs,
block,
then-
or is it like just like a pound of ground beef that they just?
no? Like if the chicken wasn't laying eggs, I would butcher the chicken. It would produce meat. So
God, you're a
okay.
monster.
Well, here's a pitch: is if we could invent a chicken
would
that
just
could
lay bacon.
hatch ground beef, that would be like maybe an egg full of ground beef or something. It's like in the shell.
Yeah.
Turns out it's just keeping like 10 teenagers employed as they're stuffing ground beef into these shells and then gluing them together.
Shoving it in a chicken. Like, how would that do it?
I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool way to get your
That
hand.
chicken over there is like 3 times the size. Got a sickle. Oh, that's my beef hen. My beef hen.
That'd be cool. Or little pieces of fried chicken. Like chicken wings.
Any credibility we might have had about this topic? Down.
Oh god.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are some meal choices for quarantine? Like you're kind of stuck in the house. It's close quarters. You can't go outside.
Mhm.
You want something easy and fairly cost effective. I think. I'm eating a lot of Hot Pockets.
Yeah, well, that's the food of champions right there.
I feel like a champion. So that's my go.
We made a big stew,
Oh,
like biscuits, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Although tomorrow I'm anticipating, I need things that take up time and are like also, fun for the boys to entertain us all. Sure,
beef,
we're gonna
beef eggs will definitely
Beef
get that across.
We're gonna try, and if it turns out to be a real egg, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do like a hot dog roast in the backyard, so we can build a fire, make the hot dogs, do that kind of thing. So
that's a good idea.
make most
Have
of our
microwave s'mores and stuff if you can't get outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Don't have a backyard where you could go and roast, start a fire and have a hot dog. You could, I guess, do it inside. My
Yeah,
boys
sure.
today had a swim day, so they wore their swimming suits all day long in the morning.
Yeah.
And they just ran around pretending they were swimming everywhere. So
Like air swimming.
Ah.
yeah. So most
Oh.
things can keep them entertained.
When I was young, I used to tie two, like, what are the longer balloons called? Like wiener shaped balloons, large wieners.
Oh, yeah.
The sausage shaped
the
balloons
clown-
or whatever.
Clown
And
sack,
I would take two of those and I would tie them to my back and pretend that I was scuba diving. All the time.
Oh,
It's pretty cool, eh? You should do that with your kids. They probably like
that's
it.
smart.
Yeah. And it's something to do in quarantine. You might as well pretend your entire house is underwater and then
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good pitch or just something disturbing we learned about Al.
I had totally forgotten that even had happened until you start talking about your swim day there. So
It probably
Yeah.
isn't a good idea in quarantine time to just cook like onions all the time,
no.
garlic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Both of those are like good for your immune system, so maybe
Yeah,
it
but
is.
they stink.
Yeah. Well,
That's true.
once the weather gets a little bit better here, barbecue season, here we go. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
I
is
like-
one thing I stocked up on. I filled up all my propane canisters so that I was ready to go for barbecue.
Yeah.
I didn't hoard, but I did pick up a lot of extra alphagetti that I normally would not eat. Because I just really like alphagetti.
Yeah.
Just on a
And now
side
you
note,
have an
I feel like they-
excuse.
I feel like they
Yeah.
changed the recipe.
Yeah, it is a little. It doesn't seem to have exactly the same punch.
Different from what I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we could go back and be quarantining in the 90s, I would get nothing but Lipton alligator soup.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Remember that stuff?
Not really. No.
It was
I-
basically just the cheap dried chicken noodle packets of soup, but they were shaped like little alligators and they're a little bit chewier.
Well, something that I think would go quite well in this isolation is Spam. I haven't had it in years. I remember doing a little summer camping trip when I was in university, and I was just going off on my own for a couple of months, and my mom bought me a couple cans of Spam for the car to take with me in my tent. And I mean, I didn't have Spam all around me in my tent. That sounds really strange.
Nothing strange. That's what happened.
I was laying
Leech
in it.
Lake.
Well, it was all the jelly in there too, but it's not a food that I've eaten in a long time. Have you guys partaken in Have you guys
Back up a second. Back up.
Yeah.
So your mom packed you
yeah.
summer camp a bunch of Spam and jelly?
I don't know why she picked Spam. Maybe it's just
Spam and jelly.
Here's a meat that can't go bad.
Yeah.
He can't
Well, he's
screw
gone
that.
for the next couple weeks. So give him a bag full of garbage.
Oh, I like that. Oh, and you put a piece of Velveeta on Spam, and it is amazing. Like Spam is actually not bad.
No, it probably is.
It's decent. It tastes a little like ham.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it rhymes.
Yeah.
When I was in grade 12, we had a teacher he was our history prof,
Right.
and he this old can, and he told us that he got it, and it was from World War One, and it was like a meal provision from World War One,
Right.
and it lasted so long, and it was like the container was like kind of old looking, beat up, kind of rusty. He opened it up and made us all try it,
Oh my.
and it turned out it was just Spam. But he really went all the way to make us
Just a Lunchables.
Wow.
just a mess of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just a container of
That
Spam.
might have been a Spam scam. Did he do that every year with his students?
I don't know.
Sounds
That
like
was my only experience of Spam. So
I know it
don't
was only yours, but he was a teacher. Did he do
Sure.
this every year? Is this a bullshit thing that
That'd be an entertaining thing to do.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a spam scam, all right.
So it's time for us to play a game, guys.
Oh, okay.
I like games.
Yeah, I think we've done this before where we've tried to draw some things out of a hat, and I think we did it back in the movie. We were pitching movie ideas based on titles, weren't we? Or actors, I believe it was. We
Yeah.
did that a while ago, and we've drawn names out of hats on a few different occasions. So it's interesting. I think one of the things that we have to worry about is how can you, if you're on quarantine and you can't go get supplies, how can you make a meal out of what you happen to have?
Oh,
there,
yeah.
right. So what's the idea with this game, guys? We talked about it just a little bit before. What are we thinking here?
Well, yeah, things could be running low in your house, and you might just have to get creative if you can't go out and get groceries. So I think we just try to challenge each other.
Okay.
Like two of us can throw an ingredient each at somebody, and that person has to come up with some kind of dish or some kind of snack or dessert or something. Maybe you can add
Only with those two ingredients, or
No, you get to add up to 2 more. So whatever we say, you can add up to 2 more ingredients, but no more.
all right.
if you want to.
Yes. So how about Derek? We challenge you first. We'll
Okay,
throw
I'm
some
in.
ingredients at you. So
All right.
what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to count, just so that we say the idea at the same time. You're going to count 3, 2, 1, and then we will say our food ingredient, and then we'll repeat it one by one so that you know what it is. Okay.
Okay, ready.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Ketchup.
Asparagus. I
Okay.
said asparagus.
Okay. I said ketchup. You got ketchup. You got asparagus.
Ketchup and asparagus.
That's kind of a meal right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you need greens. You need asparagus. Asparagus is pretty easy to put with anything.
That's true.
But I have to put I have to put. What else would I? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with what's on my fridge right now. Pretty easy.
Okay.
I've got my hot dogs. Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna take that hot dogs, just the dog, and I've got a box of Kraft Dinner. And I'm gonna
you got
put those
Kraft
together.
Dinner in there.
Put a little bit of ketchup on for some
Very
spice.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Spike. And then fry up some asparagus there and put it there with it.
You know, it
If I didn't
actually.
have- you know.
I think you could be a chef. That actually sounds like it might not be bad. So
Wow.
good job there. I mean,
I
maybe
like that.
maybe it was too easy. That's,
I have a slight like variation on it, just
Yeah.
because I like the idea of slicing open the hot dogs and grilling the asparagus inside the wiener.
yeah.
Hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an untapped market, I think. You know, there's like
Stuffed-
cheese and
yeah.
that's
It'd be
it, but-
tastier than a beef-filled egg.
Mm.
Yeah, like-
Vegetable stuffed wiener. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Really marketed a little
I
differently than
think
that.
what you actually came up with sounds like you could eat it and people would be okay with it. So you passed the test. Good job
Right.
there. Gordon Ramsay would approve. So
You're damn right jealous.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, you guys want to throw it at me or okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, if it's in your house, I need to change my idea a little bit. Okay, ready for it?
Okay. Are you ready, Trevor?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm ready now.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Maple
Old
syrup.
bananas.
Okay, I have to hear each of those separately.
Old bananas.
Oh,
I said maple syrup.
oh you,
Like they're
you guys
not
are
like
making,
black. They're not black, but they're like they're like right at the edge.
They're a little
Okay.
mushy.
Yeah.
You guys are making this way too easy. Old bananas and maple syrup. Like, I wanted to come up with something outrageous, but I'm pretty
All right.
sure I could make a really nice banana bread out of that.
Yeah, I bet
You
you
know?
could.
I mean, you guys, what's that?
You're gonna go for the obvious solution, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So what else could I do? You say, but because you want to use those bananas that are starting to go black when you're making your banana bread, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But let's see. I mean, bananas and maple syrup. It's just too easy. You could probably just have those two ingredients, guys.
Okay.
Come on,
Well,
get
I'm
a
gonna
little more
throw in-
serious about this.
I'm gonna
All
throw in a new ingredient.
Okay,
All right, I'll
there's
change
one-
mine. I'll change mine as well.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
gonna change it or are you gonna add to it?
I'm going to change mine completely.
All right, I'll change mine too.
Okay,
so
we'll give
like
them-
we're doing round 2 with me.
Yeah, we'll do
Okay.
a do a do-over.
Okay.
Give us a mulligan.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ground
Soup
flaxseed.
crackers.
Okay, say again.
What?
Ground flaxseed.
I said soup crackers.
Okay, so you guys are still in the same ballpark. I'm just to
Okay.
make it more of a challenge. I'm going to the other 2 ingredients I'm going to add are going to be the bananas and the maple syrup from the last one. All right, and I'm thinking we're good here because the maple syrup.
Whatever moves us forward.
This is a dessert. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you said crackers, and what was the other thing?
Flaxseed. Ground flaxseed.
Flaxseed. Okay, so what you do is you with the pumice stone that the pharmacists used to use in the old days. You crush down the crackers and the flaxseed. Is it flax?
Like a mortar and pestle?
Right, mortar and pestle.
Yeah,
That's it. Okay, you got a mortar and pestle, and you're crunching that stuff down, and then you just stir in the banana and the black banana and the maple syrup. Just make it into kind of a nice paste. Throw that in the oven at 450 for 2 hours, and
Does
you've
actually
got
sound
yourself
delicious.
a beautiful dessert. Maybe
Yeah, it sounds-
let it cool
sounds
down, and then in you go. Right there.
Well,
Nice.
I call
That's,
it black banana cracker flax.
banana cracker flax.
yeah. Back
Say that 3 times fast.
yeah, there you
Black
go.
banana cracker flax. I like that. Very ingenious.
So, what do you think in comparison to Derek's? Like, am I in the ballpark? Like, if you started with his as the main course and mine was the dessert, do we have something
Yeah.
here?
I think so.
I think Derek's would be the dish I'd start with, and then I would probably just use yours to feed the cat.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's syrup in there. You can't
Yeah.
beat that.
Plus, flaxseed is good for your digestive system.
That's true.
That's true. Practical dish. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Trevor.
Are we
Well,
ready?
I guess I have to go now.
Yes.
Well, I will. Are you guys ready? If I count you in.
Just give me a second. Okay, I've got it.
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
Derek, are you ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Bacon fat.
Canned jalapenos.
I heard bacon fat
Yep.
and jalapenos.
Canned jalapenos.
Okay.
I like them.
Finest of the jalapenos.
Yeah.
Bacon fat and jalapenos.
That actually probably would be tasty just as its own.
Yeah.
On its own right.
Yeah.
Just fry up the jalapenos. Oh,
Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Mine will be more of a snack, I think.
Okay.
What I would add to that is Twizzlers and cream cheese. And I think
Twizzlers. Twizzlers being like the licorice kind of curvy licorice snack thing, whatever they call it. Yeah.
red ropey kind of licorice that's kind of hollow, kind of spirally hollow licorice. Anyways, I would dice up the jalapenos real good. And if I didn't have any electricity left in my house, I guess I'd have to hook the blender up to a propane tank or something. I don't know how that works, but I would dice up the jalapenos and then I would smash them marble slab style into the cream cheese.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
And I would also then roll the cream cheese ball around in the bacon fat.
Oh, man.
Just to give it that protein and to get it more slippery because for what comes next. And then I would cram that bacon fat infused jalapeno mess into each Twizzler using like a rod, right? It just
Is this something
cram it in there.
you've manufactured, this rod? Or like...
I would straighten out a coat hanger.
Oh, okay.
And then I would just cram that into the licorice, and then you'd have yourself bacon fat spicy bites.
Oh, yeah.
Bacon fat spicy licorice bites.
Yeah. Oh,
And
man.
what would be great about it is it would be tasty. It would give you protein, and it would help you go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah.
Stuffed Twizzler bites.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The jalapeno with the Twizzler doesn't work too well, and that's not a flavor you see. You can get away with the bacon, but the jalapeno in there? I don't know.
I think that people talk about salty and sweet a lot. I don't think people talk about spicy and sweet enough.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm
So
on
I think I
board.
win. I think I win this game, right?
Yeah, it progressively got better.
Together, you got like a good meal there.
Well, I think we all did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that we've talked about disgustingness we can put into our bodies in quarantine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also, and this is pretty hypocritical coming from me, but I think we need to pitch ways that a person could keep physically active when they're in quarantine, when you're in isolation in like small quarters.
Right.
Now,
know.
this is different from when we did a whole fitness episode.
Oh,
A
yeah.
couple
But this
months
is in
ago.
dire straits.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
strange circumstances, right?
Fitness,
So we
how to keep active in your house
Yeah.
and in this quarantine situation.
You got to
Well-
think outside the box.
Well, if you've got other people in the house
Yeah.
with you on quarantine, you might as well entertain everybody at the same time. What about,
true.
I call this game rigorous hide and seek. It's not regular hide and seek. It's rigorous hide and seek. It's very
All right.
aggressive.
Okay.
I haven't worked that out. I don't know how that works, but it's more aggressive and much more physical than your regular hide and seek. Like if somebody's close to finding you, you're not afraid to toss the couch at them to just throw them off for a minute. You know?
It's like a Kato situation kind of thing. You just dive out of things at the person trying to find you.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
It's a life or death kind of game. You like pull down the kitchen table to block you and them so they can't catch you or tag you.
right. It's like MMA.
Maybe you have to,
You know.
the rule is you have to make eye contact with the person. Like you have to look into their eyeballs, which basically means like you have to pin them down and hold their head so that you're looking, look at me, look at
They
me.
just look away. They're safe.
Yeah.
Full eye contact,
Yeah.
hide and seek.
Yeah. Your eyes
Hide
have
and
to
peek.
lock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a variation of hide and seek that I just learned about recently.
Yeah.
And I learned this from my wife's family. I didn't know this was a thing, but there's a hide and seek style game called Sardines.
Right?
I read
Sardines.
I played this.
Have you played this, Derek?
Yep.
Well, basically, Al, it's hide and seek, but if you find somebody,
Yeah.
you actually have to hide in the exact same spot with them while all the others try and find you. You know,
Right,
one person starts out hiding, and then everyone else is seeking that person.
Yep.
But you slowly make the spot where that person's trying to hide less effective as a hiding spot because you're all crammed in like sardines.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I guess it's good for your kids, but
hilarious.
it would be it'd be really funny if you were just quarantining with a bunch of adults too.
Well, I think
It would-
once we I don't know if we ever get to a point where we're not like totally isolating ourselves, we have to try this before we podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
It sounds like a lot of
We
fun.
We should have a bunch of bacon jalapeno Twizzlers right before it too, and see how long we can laugh.
I like it. So yeah, rigorous hide and seek. And what about the idea of house soccer, where you've got one net is maybe in the basement of the house, and the other net's like on the top floor, and you got to like could be a one-on-one game, right?
Right. You just bounce the ball off of things.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to try and score goals, but like it's really challenging because you're working your way down or up the stairs trying to kick that ball up there.
There'll be a lot of geometry involved. Like, what kind of angle do I need off of the china cabinet?
Right. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
On mini sticks, which is like pretty popular growing up.
It's like indoor obstacle soccer.
Yeah.
Right.
And you use the whole house. I mean, there are people in Canada who have unfinished basements that they actually paint up with the hockey lines. So this isn't far from reality.
This is true.
Yeah.
I thought if you have kids and they're getting tired of the usual toys, they just don't want to play any more video games and stuff, or you just want something more physical for them, you could break out cat toys for humans. Like have the little like mouse that goes randomly all over the house.
Right.
Have people chase it around. But maybe you like dish soap up the kitchen floor first, so it's even more of a challenge trying to chase after this thing.
Oh yeah.
Or you get the laser pointer out and get like your wife and kids to try and get it, and you're going up the walls with it and spinning
Are all
around
of
in
your
a
family
circle.
members just cats? What's your situation here?
I mean, it's good for humans too.
Okay.
That musical is based on
just
Trevor's
saying,
family.
you're I don't know, the humans that you're living with aren't very smart if they're chasing laser pointers up a wall.
They know it's a game. Plus, maybe if you're the winner, you get an extra like Twizzler jalapeno bacon fat stick.
Yeah.
They make a prize out of it.
Yeah.
So I think laser pointer chase could be a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think humans can get behind that because I kind of get jealous when I see how much fun animals have with those.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'm going to bring a laser pointer and try to shine it through your front window later.
Yeah. Well, now you've already told me, so I'll know it's not a real. Well, I guess I would have known it's not real anyways. I'm a human, but well, what about just
pizza on your front step?
physical exercise? I mean, I'm lucky enough I have a treadmill and a bike in my house, but how are you guys set up over there?
Physical exercise?
Yeah, you got a kettlebell or something?
I have a snow shovel. That's been my physical exercise.
There you go.
And now that you guys know that I own a hot tub and I have to shovel back there all the time, it's created a little bit of work.
That's true. But what if you just what if things get so dire you don't even feel comfortable going out in your driveway?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just let the snow in the front door, I guess, and shovel out the foyer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I can't get out, there's not going to be much food over time, so it's not really an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually watching TV today, which I'm known to do.
Yes.
And I kind of half came up with a workout idea. Do you want to hear my pitch for a TV based workout idea?
Oh yes.
Let's hear
It's called Crunch and Dip.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, you have to put your bowl of chips really uncomfortably far in front of you.
Yeah.
To the left, right?
Yeah.
You got your bowl of chips in front of you to the left, and you have to sit on the floor while watching TV. And then you got your dip really far in front of you to the right, and then you have to do a crunch to get your chip. And then you pull it back, and you have to do another crunch to dip your chip.
Yeah.
And then you pull it back, and you get to eat it.
Well, that is way better than what I imagined when you gave me the title.
Do you guys have any other little exercise ideas?
No, I'm good with that. How about you, Derek?
Well, I mean, I've got 2 toddlers, so we have lots of options. You know, they really like. You ever do those airplane rides? You got to like hold them up with your legs and your feet and fly them around the room.
Oh yeah,
So that's whole body workout. Or sometimes we pull the mattresses down and have like a. I don't want to say Royal Rumble, but we like wrestle around, and that's 2 versus 1. It's kind of entertaining. I mean, I'm pretty lucky that we have this. We're out in the country, so we can go out in the yard quite a bit and snowshoe, or we can go out and just kind of be outside and not be near anybody and not have that as an issue.
I do like the idea of having your own like wrestling cage match event in the house.
Oh yeah.
Mattresses up on the walls and everything, and then you have to spend about 15 minutes each trash talking the other person before you actually wrestle.
Right.
Though.
Yeah, like
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I heard that the WWE is actually still broadcasting matches without people there, but your idea is way better. Like
Yeah.
to turn your entire like top floor into like a wrestling ring.
Right.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
I think I read somewhere that Nickelback is still having concerts even with nobody there, and it's basically the same thing.
Ah,
No, I saw that on The Onion or something, I think.
yeah,
Oh, probably not true.
yeah.
Oh, one thing I did see recently that would be an excellent quarantine exercise. If you don't have a treadmill, I saw this video of a guy who put vegetable oil or something on the floor of the kitchen,
Mhm.
and then he just held on to like the handle of his stove or something, or his
Yeah.
countertop, and he just ran in place on the greased up floor, and it seemed to work really, really well.
That
Or
is-
bacon fat, or whatever you got.
that's really ingenious.
Yeah.
Huh.
You might have warty feet or something later, but it still looked like it would be a good makeshift treadmill.
Oh, it sounds great.
Yeah. Well, besides keeping people physically active, I mean, so people don't go nuts or something, I guess you'd also want to keep them entertained and keep them mentally
Yeah.
True.
active.
Everybody
Yeah,
needs
so-
to everybody needs to podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone should start podcasting.
Well,
'cause it's not a
yeah.
flooded market or anything.
As long as you're not pitching out ideas or doing what we do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, find your own thing.
Yeah.
You know, do a podcast about beef eggs.
Yeah. It's been done.
Yeah, probably. There's probably 3 of them.
some stuff online that I've done, and there's lots of different zoos that are broadcasting, like get to know some of their animals and working with the trainers and stuff. And my boys have enjoyed some of that. There's a kids author. His name is Mo Willems, and he does like
Yeah.
I don't know what's that. What is it? A parrot or a? He does like kids animation or kids stories, anyways. And he's on his YouTube channel. He's doing like doodling, how to doodle, pretty like every day. So
Oh, is he the penguin guy?
yeah, he's a pigeon,
Okay.
and
Oh,
so we
pigeon
haven't.
guy.
We haven't done that yet, but that's on the queue. My boys have found some things on their own to do. I was trying to be like super dad, making sure the house is clean. My wife's not here, but she's, coming home in a few days eventually. So I was trying to, like make some home cooked meals and do some things. My kids are doing
Sure.
crafts. And then I found out as I was kind of like half paying attention to them, and I realized my 2-year-old was trying to glue his feet together.
Oh,
And so, he was really entertained by that. It kind of made him have like, you had like suction cup feet for a while. So it kind of
Yeah.
turned into,
Yeah.
and then I got
That's
some
actually
physical
a good
activity
idea.
mopping the floor, so it was some good stuff there.
that makes sense to me. Did he actually try to like walk up the wall with his glue feet?
I don't think he got that far. I think if the 5-year-old would have realized what he was doing and given him some, ideas, he would have tried more. But
Yeah. What kind of glue was he using? Like a glue stick or white glue or super glue?
like one of those purple glue sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
That makes sense. That's
Yeah.
smart of him because he'd know which part of his foot he glued already then.
Exactly. It's all
if
miscolored.
you've got to entertain kids, gluing them to stuff is, I think,
Yeah.
a really great idea. Just work on their like skills and trying to escape, and
Mhm.
especially if
A
they're
lot
not
of-
that strong, because a lot of people can break through glue, but
Kids
you're
aren't.
not a 2-year-old.
Yeah, right.
A lot of companies have actually kind of come through during this to offer things for parents and kids. And
Mhm.
I know one thing is Audible has kids can listen free right now to a whole bunch of kids' stories.
Mhm.
So that's kind of neat because kids like stories, I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we've been reading a bunch of stories over the last little while.
Well, listening's easier than reading. So maybe look this up, Derek.
It's pretty awesome. Well, Josh Gad has been reading bedtime stories to kids every night.
I heard about that.
And you've got Adobe has opened up its software to, well, at first it was students, but I heard now to everybody for the next 2 months.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
So
pretty
if
sweet.
you want Photoshop or Premiere Pro or any of that, you can go get it.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
pretty
it's nice
cool.
to see these companies pitching in like this.
Yeah, and you know what I also like? Getting an email just letting me know what that particular company is doing
Like coronavirus.
Right, exactly. In regards to this crisis, like I needed to know what Best Buy was up to and make sure that that everyone's safe there at the company. So
wiping down their electronics. Yeah. I'm glad I know that Reebok has got a plan and they're taking care of it.
It's things I subscribed to and unsubscribed to like months ago or years ago. I'm still getting emails from them about how they're dealing with their COVID crisis. So just glad that you get all that information.
Well, the pitch guys, we haven't put out our plan yet, how we're dealing with this. But I mean, I guess this whole podcast is about that.
That's
and how
true,
we're
yeah.
actually dealing with it.
Well, besides that, and Lysoling my entire body, that's pretty much what we're doing.
Well, and I think what I've realized from this podcast is that I prefer not being close to you guys. In general, this is a lot better.
Yeah. This is better, yeah.
Yeah.
If I just move my mouse, I can mute you whenever I want here.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm doing it periodically throughout this, so it's
I like
pretty
all
handy.
the pixels and noise and the cutting out of the audio sporadically.
Yeah.
Like it really adds to the experience. And you
I
just
like how
can't
you
get
can,
that in real life.
No.
I feel much more free to podcast without wearing pants in this way.
Okay, we should all just mute our signals right now. Go take off our pants. I mean, because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah. Video feed. We'd be able to
We're
see
in a
you come back.
podcast, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did do an episode in a hot tub.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Yeah. Well, we had. I had
Wearing someone else's skin bathing suit.
Yeah. If you want to experience that, if you haven't already, go back and check out our podcast on relaxation techniques.
episode 15.
You know the number?
No, actually, I made that up. I think it might be though, but somewhere along that lines, chilling in a hot tub is what it's called. Well, one of the things you need to do if you're going to keep mentally active, you should think about too is how you're going to entertain yourself. I think Trevor, you like to call it quarantainment.
Yeah, I called it that before I was even quarantining. I just like the name.
So, you got to entertain yourself. All the movie theaters are closed out there.
That's true.
Television, there's no sports on TV right now. So, what are the things that you can do just to entertain yourself when you're isolated like this?
What about linoleum blanket races?
You'll have to explain.
Well, I think you probably did it when you were a kid. I did it. Like, you have one person sitting on a blanket, and the other person just runs around trying to pull that person on the kitchen floor as fast as they can.
Right.
And whipping them around like the kitchen island and tables.
Yeah. Have you ever done couch cushion bobsledding?
No.
Well, that is where you're at the top of the stairs. You've taken a couch cushion off of the couch or the sofa, and you sit on it, and then somebody pushes you down the stairs. You slide all the way down to the bottom.
I would say, as a safety disclaimer, if you are going to try that one, wear a helmet.
Yeah, I've done it many a time.
Don't not do it, but wear a helmet.
Yeah.
No? That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So maybe want to get outside, right? We have to stay away from each other. But the snow is melting in our part of the world. And so maybe there's like what do you call that? STEM, is that what we call it? We got like build things or engineer things. Maybe each family in the neighborhood has to engineer like a trebuchet or something like that. And
science, technology,
why did you go
Egos,
right to trebuchet?
Well, I don't know. Something where you can hurl snowballs across the community, and then you have this massive snowball fight. But you have to stay 30 feet away from each other just to make sure everyone.
It's good because it sounds like there's all sorts of math and engineering and science in that and history. You're basically you've got a whole curriculum in there.
Yeah. This could be part of homeschool right there.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden your neighbors
12 years.
Your neighbors start flinging car parts across the neighborhood.
So it's getting a little more intense than the snowballs. Eventually,
or somebody needs some potatoes,
wrecked.
you can send them over that way too.
Houses are getting wrecked.
Here comes a family's toilet. Becomes a violent battle royale from one house to the other.
I love it. Yeah, it's really good. So I'm not that I'm a huge sports fan, but it's pretty much all gone now, right? Like NBA, NBA's gone, the NHL, I think baseball even. Like it's done, at least.
I miss not watching baseball.
Yeah. What's been really because you're a huge baseball fan. You know a lot about what's your favorite?
The ball.
Yeah.
They got the bat and
you played some T-ball, didn't you? Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, who did
T-ball?
I love T-ball. I hit that ball every time.
I was great at it.
So, yeah.
Oh, you could play indoor T-ball with your kids if you're really bored.
Yeah. I was doing a different type of T-ball where there was no tee there, and then you'd have like a kid, he would be on a mound and he'd throw it at you. It was a kind of just an alternate type of T-ball that kids would play sometimes.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Baseball.
Yeah, they call it baseball, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, all these sports are gone, so I don't know if you guys have been on the internet in the last couple days, but there's been some really entertaining things out there. And one of them is the YouTube channel called, I don't know if the YouTube channel is called this, but the sporting event is called Marbula One. And it's these elaborate marble tracks that have been made by this guy, and he's got like an audience of marbles in the background, and they're all watching this happen. And then they release the marbles on the track, and the guy does live commentary on it. And you would think that is the stupidest thing on the face of this planet, but you can't tear your eyes away from it. Like, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun to watch. And you're like, oh, Blue Comet is ahead. Like, it's really great. So you guys should really check it out if you haven't. Marbula One.
Marbula One. I'll have to check it out.
You could bet on it too.
Yeah, I think so. In Vegas, it's, well, before the casinos were closed, it was a big thing, but.
Yeah, you could just gamble with your family or friends, if whoever you're quarantined with, place bets on them.
So I think there's going to be some weird sports that come out of this whole isolation thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the worst thing.
The other thing
Innovation.
is there's been even more cat videos on the internet in the last few days since this whole thing happened. Like
these cat videos.
And we've got some guy who's set up this elaborate dominoes track, and he's got 2 or 3 cats that are interacting with the dominoes and watching how they react to all these dominoes tumbling over. And it's also something that you just have to watch. You just have to see. So it's pretty awesome. So maybe that's another area that we could get into if we're talking about cats, like as maybe a whole subgenre of like sexy cat videos.
Cosplay cats.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with cats. You have a cat, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
Would your cat be willing? Could you get your cat into some lingerie?
I think if it gets to that point, I've slipped into an unhealthy portion of quarantine. I don't think I'm doing social isolation very well if I'm trying to sex up the cat.
You're in some kind of danger zone for sure.
Yeah,
at that point.
I think that's a warning sign that we've pitched there.
No? Okay, well, yeah, it's a benchmark. We call that, right?
Yeah. If the cat videos you're publishing suddenly you're trying to make them more erotic, then you know that you haven't been self-quarantining very well.
Yeah.
Well, give that checklist to your wife so she knows that that's benchmark number 3 in your journey towards insanity.
Yeah. Maybe take a break and do a puzzle and get some more vitamins.
Yeah. Go sit in the sunlight for a while.
Yeah.
Well, there's people always talk about, like, if you were stranded on a desert island, what would be your desert island book or your desert island movie if you could hypothetically have a movie on a deserted island?
Yeah.
We're kind of in that situation where everyone's like burning through their watch lists on Netflix and, finding any books they can read. So I don't know. Can we pitch out some of our favorites?
Let's see. I mean, Home Alone is pretty classic. It's got a lot of feel-goody stuff, which you could use at this time of the year.
And defend your house with.
Yeah, exactly. There might be some lessons there, too.
Yeah.
That's true.
I can think of 2 isolation-themed movies that would be good.
Are they entertaining, though?
They are entertaining. One of them has, is it Robert Redford? Yeah, I think it's Robert Redford, and the movie's called All Is Lost. Have you guys heard about this movie? Where
I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
he's out at sea, he's on his own, he's sailing around the world, and then he has this little mishap where his boat kind of hits a shipping container overnight while he's sleeping. And it just creates this little like puncture in the boat, but it becomes quite serious. Like the boat starts filling up with water, and it becomes more and more of a crisis. There's hardly a word said in the movie because it's just him out there. But it is really a great movie. It's worth watching.
Okay.
And I mean, I guess we're not isolated out at sea, but that's just kind of where I go with these isolation things. The other is, what's the Tom Hanks volleyball movie?
Oh,
That's what I was thinking of.
Castaway.
Castaway. There you go. That's a movie to watch about isolation for sure. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can also watch Open Water.
Oh yeah. We haven't brought up dolphins in this episode at all yet. So are
Too
they
late
in?
now.
Are they in open
No.
water?
The sharks are.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. We're not likely to encounter sharks in our houses. Let's be real about that. It's about time you come to terms with it.
Probably not. Yeah. If I had to say a movie, I would say just if you want a feel good movie, maybe Captain Ron.
Oh yeah. They're all water based.
Another water. Yeah.
Every movie.
We're on this water kit. But Goonies, I think, would be another good one.
There's water in that movie too.
You could burn through the Indiana Jones trilogy.
Oh, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Especially
I would both
number 4.
I would read and watch number 4. All the Harry
Trilogy.
Potters again. You know,
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a big fan there.
I'd like to go back and watch the 1980s Anne of Green Gables miniseries again from CBC.
There you go.
Wow.
It might be hard
Megan-
to stream right now.
Megan Follows.
Yeah.
Or
That's a
some of
good
the original
condition tip.
Degrassi Junior Highs.
Yeah.
They
Because
were
that'll
great.
make you feel better about your situation.
Yeah.
All that teenage melodrama.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, those teenagers had it pretty tough.
Yeah. Pretty rough.
You could watch and or read Into the Wild.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Those
There's a
are,
depressing movie to watch. Let's
yeah,
pick
you
something.
know, if you're
Don't
You know.
spoil it though for anybody, but
yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you're in your lowest moment, and then you come back out of that.
Yeah.
What
that's
about-
true?
what about books that people haven't really thought of before? Like people,
Books.
there's a lot of bestseller lists out there, but do you guys have a favorite book you'd want to reread?
I love John Irving. And I don't know if you guys have ever read A Prayer for Owen Meany, but that's
I've
a
heard of it.
very big, long book that I loved when I first read it about 20 years ago. And it's one that I've always wanted to revisit and just haven't had time. So
There you go. I've read The Long Walk about 4 times
well, yeah.
by Stephen King.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I've never read that
Oh.
one. It's good.
It's short and it's good, and yeah, I recommend it.
What's it about? Could you give me a little premise?
Well, there's this long walk, and the book is almost literally just these. It's a death marathon basically, and these kids who have been selected across the country for a long walk, and it's just it's interesting just what they all go through as they're walking for their lives and walking for glory. It's like a early morbid reality TV show.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. Derek, you got a favorite book, or do you have like a book that you would recommend for maybe kids or anything like that?
I recently finished reading The Hobbit with my 5-year-old,
Yeah.
and he was a massive fan of it. And it took us like a month because it's like 350 pages. So
Yeah.
you could read that again. That would give you lots of time.
Yeah.
Um,
The Lord of the Rings even would be, that'd knock some
Well, that
time
would
out.
take you a while. Well, I prefer with my 5-year-olds to tackle the Silmarillion.
yeah, something really. We've been doing, as opposed to some of with the reading stuff, we've been doing like storytelling as opposed to reading. And so I have a
sock
set of
puppets.
dice with a bunch of like pictures on it, and then you roll the dice, and we have to come up with a story that has to do with those images on the dice, and so that's been entertaining.
That's a great
A
idea.
little bit of improv. Are you teaching your kids the concept of yes and?
We're working on it.
Yeah.
The 2-year-old only says
Okay, well, that makes it really easy because he's agreeing with everything basically.
yeah, no matter what. So
a
you just
great
have to make
pitch.
sure that you feed him lines that can be answered with and then it's good.
Dice stories. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
What about TV shows? You guys streaming anything from start to finish right now? You can't go wrong with like watching Breaking Bad for the 5th time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. Well, I mean, I'm waiting every week for the new Better Call Saul, which I think
Yep.
is turning out to be just as great as Breaking Bad. Everybody's
Bold
good.
statement.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
Well, it's fantastic. If you haven't already
Okay.
seen the Watchmen series on HBO, it's also a pretty interesting extension of what Alan Moore did in the graphic novel in the 80s. So it's definitely worth watching.
If you've got Disney Plus, you got 30 seasons of The Simpsons you can watch.
Yeah. What season are you
And-
on?
Season 12.
Mm-hmm.
Been a rough week. And you also got your early 90s Saturday morning cartoons like Gargoyles.
I
That's not-
hardly remember that.
It's best left that way.
Yeah. Very
There's Parks and Recreation is like a good thing I like to watch when I need
choice.
something entertaining.
it's
The
a very
Office.
good show, yeah.
Yeah, The Office. John Krasinski's what's his action one on Prime?
Is that Tom Clancy?
Yeah,
Jack Ryan.
Jack
Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Season 1 is amazing. Season 2 is decent.
Video games are also a great idea.
Well, I know I'm going to revisit Star Wars Battlefront, the one that came out about 3-4
good
years
choice.
ago on PS4. It's a really good game. People kind of
Yeah.
criticized it, but I quite enjoy it. I feel
Well, any game where you're playing online with people is kind of like adding a bit of a social element to your isolation. So why not?
yeah, except that every 10-year-old that's on there is better than I am, so it does get a little bit frustrating.
Well, maybe you'll learn some skills over your quarantine.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric, you got any video games on the go?
No, I got
You're not going
I
to make
got-
it.
no, I got nothing.
No. Not gonna
If
pull up
there's
the old
anything that I
Grand
would
Theft Auto.
play, there's like a new online version of what was that game that I was playing for a while?
Call
I
of
think I borrowed
Duty,
it from you. No,
Frogger?
no.
Skyrim.
Skyrim. There's like a new online version of that. I think.
Oh yeah, Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, except
Get lost in that.
I don't have enough internet to make it work. So
Oh.
Yeah. Got to get more internet.
yeah.
Yeah. How much internet do you have?
A bucket of internet. 2 buckets of internet.
Just 2 buckets, but it comes with 2 buckets of fried chicken as well, so it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's country internet, it's as best as you can get.
Yeah.
You
well,
get 40 gigs and a beef egg.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I'm craving a beef egg now.
it sounds good. Yeah.
Well, I think we've given people some good entertainment ideas, maybe some shows, movies, books, games that they didn't think of before, and other really weird ass activities you could do besides that. So, yeah, I guess if we do these things, we should all be all right. Like we should make it through this quarantine. None of us really have any certainty how long this is going to last, and obviously it's affecting us all in a pretty weird and profound way. I've never been in my house this long.
No.
It's only been 24 hours. So maybe I can do another week. I don't know. But I don't know. It's going to be strange after being locked up and kind of changing a routine this long, trying to go back into the real world.
There will be some changes in society. I hope that people don't end up becoming accustomed to this and just generally isolate themselves more. I hope
I'm going
that
to become
we're
more
able.
social.
You're going to become more social or less social?
Yeah.
More?
More social.
Yeah. I could see a lot of people getting quite comfortable with this, and people becoming more agoraphobic and all sorts of issues. So we got
more people wanting to work from home, and
The cool thing is, like, doing this with you guys tonight. This is probably the most relaxed I've felt in a few days. Just having some normalcy, although we're doing it in a different way than we normally would. It's just good to laugh and be with people even if you're not in the same room. So
this is true.
Thank God for the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm going to just
if that goes, we're dead.
It's a very different quarantine than you would have had, should you not have access to all the amazing stuff we have online.
I think people just need to take advantage of all the different ways we have to keep in touch. Like, I hate social media normally, but right now it's actually a useful thing. And just if you're just sitting there watching TV, if you have a bathroom break, take a moment to call somebody you haven't talked to in a little while, I guess.
Exactly.
And just make sure that they're not getting too lonely during this time.
Is it possible that this period of social isolation might make us closer to people than ever before? If you think about, you're so busy sometimes in your own family that you don't get a chance to see each other. Now you're going to have a chance to spend time with each other. And then, on the other hand, all of your friends outside, you're going to make that effort to connect with them, even if it's online or you're meeting like us over Skype or over a Google Hangout or whatever.
Some people are unfortunately having to pull back on work a little bit, so can't really control that. You might as well use the time to just catch up with people. Well, I think we've solved a lot of problems in the first 24 hour of quarantining here. And
that's for sure.
I think if people were worried about this whole virus, I think we pretty much set their minds at ease. This,
I know everybody's going to sleep. Everybody's going to sleep well tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah. This mindless stream of consciousness really solved a lot of issues.
So, we just want to say to you guys, thanks so much for listening. And we hope that you're all, keeping positive out there, seeking out opportunities like this to just have time to relax and unwind and laugh and entertain yourself. Definitely.
If you want to reach out to us at Pitch Guys and share your ideas for quarantining or just telling us what you're doing to keep sane, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we hope you all stay happy, stay healthy, be safe out there, and let's flatten the curve.
Thanks for listening. Take care, everyone.